he has already made a decision to be a youth pastor.
Praise the Lord.
He started schooling already, and he's still a junior in high school. And so by the time he's done with junior high school, he'll be halfway through school for being a preacher for young people.
Praise the Lord.
That's every Wednesday night at Bayside, and it's usually 280 to 300 kids every Wednesday night. And so I'm very proud of him. Now, I know the Bible tells you that pride goes before the fall. But it's not that kind of a pride. I'm proud that he has decided. That's the third generation of preachers.
Praise the Lord.
And if you want to go really far back, it's the fifth generation of preachers in my family. And I'm happy about that. But I'm not to the point where I feel like I'm better than anybody else. There are decisions we make. All kinds of decisions. We discover our destiny of where we're going and what we're going to do this year. We're coming just before you know it, it's going to be 2018.
Yeah.
As I remarked a couple of weeks ago, I remember when they said it wasn't going to take it past 2000. Can't happen. And here we are. 2 years ago, January the 13th, Mama Nancy passed. And before she passed, when she's still able to talk, she said she just don't know what's going to happen. What's going to happen at our house? Well, there's a couple of things that are going to happen at our house. First of all, as long as I'm alive, we're going to try to love one another. Now, there are some things that happen in a house, in a home, that it's a little hard to be happy. I'll tell you one thing that'll make me really happy. If we open the curtains and I can see the sun.
You want the door open?
No, I glared at my eyes. Thank you. Look at that.
That's good.
As I woke up yesterday morning, I started to sing. It's beginning to look like Christmas. Everywhere there's snow. Boy, I was totally overwhelmed. But when I think about it, you think about it. New Year's Eve, your destiny. What do you have? Somebody share with me what you would like to see this year coming New Year's Eve.
A complete recovery for Dennis.
Complete recovery for Dennis. Okay.
Dave gets a job.
Dave gets a job. Okay. Anybody? Linda?
Peace in the world.
Peace in the world. Well, I don't know about peace in the world, but we can help it, can't we?
Amen.
We can help it. There's people that you know that I'll never meet that have some problems, and you have a chance to talk to them.
That's right.
And Jeremiah 29, 11, 12, and 13, he knows our thoughts.
Yeah.
Hey, that's kind of scary. God knows what you're thinking. Oh man, there's some things that cross my mind sometimes that I'm hoping God didn't know what I was thinking. Amen, Hunter? I'm glad you agree with me. He's agreeing with me. It says, I know your plans. God knows what we're going to do next. We get to thinking we can do something we shouldn't do. And then mamas have, and grandmas, they have, it's a built-in sonar. Built-in sonar. I know what you're doing up there or down there. Nothing, Mom. What are you doing? Nothing, Mom. Are you guys smoking? No, Mom. Well, then what's that I smell? Are you guys building a fire? No, Mom. What's that I smell? Moms know.
Uh-huh.
Grandparents know. You know why moms and grandparents know?
Because we did it.
We've lived it.
That's right.
We have lived that life.
That's right.
Believe it or not, from 10 to 16. From, Brian, are you 38?
37.
37. Clean up to my age. I'm not going to tell you how old Randy is. Well, he's 33, 30. But from that age all the way up, from Quinlan's age all the way up, when we do something wrong, God knows it. He knows our thoughts. He knows what we're thinking. He's thinking, he knows we're thinking, oh boy, I hope you soon get through with this and sit down and shut up and we can get out of here. Well, we're going to do that. And in about 3/4 of an hour, I'm heading north. I'm heading to the mountains. My brothers are there. My nephews are there. There's 3 preachers, 2 preachers there, and then when you put me in the mix, there's 3 preachers. And when you get 3 preachers together, who talks first? Somebody flip a coin. We'll see how. Who?
The oldest.
The oldest, that's it. That's me. Yeah, I'm the oldest. So I get that privilege. Amen?
Amen.
And so it's kind of scary. And then go over to Job 12:10. Go over to Job 12:10. It's in the Old Testament.
In his hand is the life of every creature and the breath of all mankind.
In his hand, the life of every creature. Now, if I pick up this mic and I start walking back and forth, what does that remind you of that you've seen already today?
Christ.
Quentin, you're thinking. Yes, I'm thinking.
Christ.
Bryce. Bryce Larkin, that's who was speaking. And it's amazing when I watch it. When I watched it for the first time, I'm so, wow. I was so thrilled about that. Because he's my grandson.
Uh-huh.
And he wasn't supposed to be born. But God had a different plan.
Amen.
You see, God has a plan for you in your life.
That's right.
God has a plan.
That's right.
Linda said she'd like to be peace everywhere. That'd be great to have peace everywhere. Satan has a plan, and he wants to disturb your mind.
That's right.
He's doing his best to disturb you in what you do and what you say.
Yeah.
But my hand, my life, my soul, every creature is what Deb just read. Every creature is in God's hand.
Amen.
Now, am I a creature?
Mm-hmm.
I've been called a lot of bad things. People have called me things that just, well, it would curl your hair if you knew what some people called me. And even Randy, when he was 40 years on the road, back and forth, and Brian, back and forth, in the semi, there was people in little four-wheelers called them a whole lot of things and gave the California highway as they go by. Them blankety blank truckers, they ought to get off the road and let us drive. So there's a lot of things that happen, a lot of things are done. And after the clock strikes midnight tonight, guess what? I remember way back when the conversation was, what do you think's going to happen? And this was in 1999. What do you think's going to happen at midnight when it turns to 2000? And my response was, what's going to happen at midnight when it turns to 2000? It's going to go 2001 nanosecond, 2002 seconds, 2003 seconds, and then it was 2001, 2000, and now we're in 2018. If we make it tonight, there's always a bump in the road. There's a possibility there's a bump in the road. But I ask you a question, and the questions I ask you today, pretty simple. You say, well, how do I know? How can I figure out what God wants me to do? You can make a little note there alongside of it. What do I want to be? Anybody, what do you want to be? Hey, the rest of us old people, we're done. Well, we're just not quite done yet. Yes.
A good Christian with a loving heart.
You want to be a good Christian with a loving heart. Praise the Lord. Plan. God. You want God in the plan. God in your life. Well, ask this. Instead of what do I want to be, Quentin was pretty close. What does God want me to be? You can make that little note there. What does God want me to be? What's God want me to be? 110 are both sitting in here today, and each one of them have killed more deer. Harvest. They have harvested more deer than many guys that I know that have spent a lot of money back and forth to the mountains and to the Midwest. How many did you do already this year, Hunter?
Oh, this year? I only had 2 this year.
Only 2, that's all.
I had school. I only did 2.
Yeah, you had school. Yeah. That interrupts with hunting every time. Dan,
Yeah, I gave you 7.
oh, you had a big goose egg. How many you got last year?
2.
2? How many did you get last year?
Couple.
A couple? He's not going to say it. Okay? But what happened last year, we can't allow that in our past, the bad things, to hold us prisoner. Somebody explain to me what I mean by we can't allow our past to hold us prisoner.
Can't dwell on it.
Can't dwell on it. Can't dwell on what happened. It's done. It's past. And we're moving on to the next one. Remember, at midnight, 2018. Yes, Randy.
Well, certain things, people are going to say to you, well, God can't forgive you for that. He can forgive you for anything.
Amen.
God, well, what do we read? He knows our thoughts. And in Job 10, we are in his hand. He knows. I get a kick out of that one, which insurance company is it? Allstate, I think it is. You're in good hands with Allstate. Yeah, right, Don't make a payment. They'll show you how good you are. Okay. Another question. What do I want to be? And what we should ask, what does God want me to be? What does God want me to be? The young man you saw up on the screen has already made 2 trips in mission field to Europe. Going to be almost all the summer this summer in Ireland. You say, why would you go to Ireland? They don't have natives and people running around half naked with a bone in their nose. No, they don't. But in Ireland, there's only 1% Christian. Of all the people living in Ireland right now, is estimated 1% are Christians. So he's going to be there the whole time. He's going to be studying with some of the preachers. At 17 years old. 17 years old, the only thing I cared about keeping enough gas in my car and getting a pretty girl. Well, at least one pretty girl. finally called Nancy, or she called me, I don't know which it goes. But I think it was the car, really, that's what you liked. I think Ford did the trick.
From the looks and for it, you probably try.
I don't remember where it's at. We have to go on to the next. Don't ask, what are my hopes, what are my goals, and what are my ambitions? Ask, what will God do, and what is my purpose? What is my purpose? What is my purpose? Ask God that question. What is my purpose? You know that old song, Camp Cucamonga? Now the young folks don't know that one. Camp Cucamonga. Somebody yelled attack, and there I stood with an arrow in my back. Please, Mr. Custard, I don't want to go. And then you hear a little voice sing, what am I doing here? And so you might think about that today. What am I doing here? What am I doing here? You go down the street, there's probably 150 people, 100 people there at service. You go a little further, there might be 10 or 15 more than us. And then you go on over to LCPC or over to Living Word, and there might be 1,000 people there. Well, that's why we got a couple empty pews, because they're over there. Then we have to ask our question, why are they over there? Here's a challenge. We have 5, 6 young people here today. We should have some kind of a program for them. And guess what they have? Friends.
Yeah.
Do you understand that, Miss Carol? They got friends. Now, those friends are old enough to make the decision. When they're still at Maddie's age and Quinnen's age, they have to go where the parents want them to go. Okay? So, we get back to the destiny of our future. The future of this church is sitting right there.
That's right.
I think about this. I think about when I check out. When I check out, well, I'll still be here. I'll be over there in a box. I'll still be here keeping an eye on things. But the thing of it is, when I do, and it's not if. It's not if, it's just when. Don't ever think if something happens to me. It's when something happens to me. It's in the front page today. Front page. A young person in Red Lion, OD. Cocaine, I guess, I'm not sure. It's in the front page. I don't understand that. I've never been intoxicated in my life. And I can't understand the reason to be. But I know when I was you kids' age and I started driving, I know the rest of the football players, they didn't ask what God wants me to be. They asked, where can I get a drink? Where can I get a case of beer? Where can I get a bottle? Because when you're 16 and 17, you legally are not supposed to be able to buy it. But on campus, you might be able to get some marijuana or something. On campus, quicker than you get a beer, because it's illegal for beer. It's illegal unless you're, what is it, the age 21 or 18?
21.
21, so you can get all, pretty much available to any age is marijuana and whatever else is out there, I don't know. But that's so available. I think about that. So what's my future? God has a plan for us. What's your future? We once had an associate pastor here. He would say, now I have 5 more pages. Without God, we have no future.
That's right.
Without God, we have no purpose.
That's right.
And one might say, well, that's just the way you old folks talk. Yeah. I had a chance to talk last night on the phone very late with some people that Trinda's taking care of their 10-year-old boy who laid like this. Been like that since he's 8 years old. He had 2 brain tumors. He was playing soccer and quite active in soccer and started getting headaches. And they found out that he had not 1, but 2 tumors in his brain at 8 years old. Only 1 was operable. They took that one out, but they can't touch the one that's at the base of his brain. And I had a chance to talk to his mother last night. And later on, his mother said, when Trina got home this morning, she worked the whole night shift. And his mother said, her name's Samantha, she said, your dad didn't sound at all like I thought he would sound. And Trina said, what do you mean? Didn't sound like what did you think my dad would sound like? And Samantha said, well, he's a preacher and all that. I guess because I didn't go into the King James and say, good evening. Would thou at this time turn thy radio on, or thy cell phone, so that I could hear thee? And she went on to say, I didn't sound like a preacher. I didn't sound like a priest. How should I sound? God's called me the way I am. God's called me the person I am. I drive Fords and shoot Remington rifles. Now, he didn't call me to do that, but that's what I do. I pick my nose and I pick my guitar. And sometimes when people aren't looking, I'm like, I have to be careful. You know what happens to boogie sometimes. That Nancy's going, oh, so she knows. She must have experience. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Well, let's get back to where we were, and then we'll be on our way. Hallelujah. Oh, there it is, another page. Oh, we went through that really quick. Okay? You have to realize that once you make the decision, okay? Once you make the decision, Jeremiah 33:3. Call unto me and I will answer you, and I'll show you great and many things which thou knowest not. Or, I could say in the King James, call unto me and I will answer thee, and I'll show what thou dost not. Plain and simple. God says, call unto me and I'll show you things that you never even thought was going to happen. And I say it over and over again, folks, look at the, on the newspaper. Do they still have in there a horoscope?
Yes.
Look at their horoscope to see what's going to happen in your life.
Yeah.
Hey, check God's word out. Check God's word out. Did you know Jeremiah 33:3 said that? And hey, you can go to one of them people and give them a whole bunch of money and they look at your palm and they read your palm and they say, oh man, yeah. They could say to Elizabeth, well, you're going to meet a handsome man. You don't want to be an ugly man. You're gonna have a good job, you'll finish college, and you'll have good income. Well, you don't want to be poor. They tell you what you like to hear. And there always are something that they can find. That's, I mean, they take one look at me and start talking to me, and they know what they pretty much, they can read my body language. But along with that, once you've made a decision that's going to be a bump in the road, once you made a decision, somebody's going to tell you, it's like 110 were baptized. Quentin was baptized. Elizabeth was baptized. Megan was baptized. Brown was baptized. October 22nd, if you don't believe it, it's a picture out on the wall, best of you, whatever. That landing out there we come in. There's a picture there. Carol was baptized. Connie was baptized. And I'm telling you, shortly after that happened, Satan went to work. He tried to make sure to put a bump in your road. He tried to give you a detour. He wanted to detour you from the decision that you made. Amen? You may decide to make a decision. Well, you know, I know what I'm going to do to these guys. I just know what I'm going to take these young guys and we're not going to say what they do. Could be a number of things. And us old folks, he puts a bump in the road.
Amen.
There's something that sickness, financial, all kinds of problems. But we got to stay true to what God wants us to do. Romans 3:13. We read that Sunday or Wednesday night. Romans 3:13. Who's going to read it?
Their talk is foul like the stench from an open grave. Their speech is filled with lies. The poison of a deadly snake drips from their lips.
Poison of a deadly snake. Can somebody tell me what that means? Poison of a deadly snake?
Venom.
Venom from what? Satan. The one who's trying to get you to just give it up and say, oh, well, that's it. Randy mentioned the fact that years ago he drank pretty heavy. And he knows. And he's made testimony. Not only here, but in Africa. He's given testimony that once he was blind, but now he can see. The light of the world is Jesus.
Amen.
The light of the world is Jesus. The words to that song came from a man who was born and raised in Ireland. He met the love of his life, and right close to when he's to be married, she was riding a horse. The horse stumbled. She fell in the creek, bumped her head, and died. Well, later on, he decided he'd go to to Canada. After so many years in Canada, he met another woman. He fell in love again. And he thought, sure, now this sounds like a false story, but it's the truth. He met another woman who decided going to get married. And he talked to her and said, well, if we get married, you're going to have to accept Jesus. So she accepted Jesus. And she went and got baptized. They baptized her, kind of like we did on a chilly October afternoon. The water was chilly, but the sun was nice. She got baptized. She caught a cold, got pneumonia, and died before he had a chance to marry her. Well, then a little bit later on, somebody noticed in some of his things that he had, a poem. And the man asked, well, what is that? He said, I wrote that to my mother many, many years ago. Many years ago, wrote that to my mother. So the fellow who noticed it was a newspaper guy in Canada. So he printed it. Now I'll tell you how God works on God. Wasn't long after that, he died. Somebody had taken and sent to New York a gift to somebody and wrapped it in newspaper. And when they opened up the paper, the newspaper, curiosity, when this was written, and they saw the poem. And so a songwriter, a person who was putting out Christian music then, put music to it. And mind you, this is what he wrote to his mother years ago. The first wife-to-be died, the second wife-to-be. You would think he'd say, that's it, I'm going to go get drunk and sure regret it, whatever. That song, as we've sung many, many, many thousands of times since I was a kid, Quentin's age and Maddie's age. What a friend we have in Jesus. All our sins and griefs to bear. What a friend we have in Jesus. When you got a song like that comes from the heart of a man some 70-some years prior that he wrote to his mother, that's God sent. What a friend we have in Jesus. Now today in some of the LCB churches and where Troy goes in Sarasota, Florida, chances of you hearing that, pretty slim. But if Miss Carol will come to the piano right now. What a friend we have in Jesus. It's there. It's there. It really is. Believe what? Christmas is over.
328.
328. And you see his name up there on the left, James.
Joseph.
He's the one who wrote the song. Stand with me and sing with me.